Guys, welcome to the channel. Thanks very much for checking out this video. I'm just heading over to the chipping area. I'm going to talk you through a golf shot that I learned when I was just starting golf and I still use now. I can't believe there's not every single player on the planet already using it. Maybe you already are, and this might be the perfect refresher to get you using it more regularly again, because it will save you shots. It will improve your consistency and make you a better golfer. We've got to live by that formula of 1 chip and 2 putts every single time. And when you do so, you'll be a better chipper, you'll have more 1 putts, less 3 putts, and most importantly, no duff chip shots. Let's get stuck into this lesson. But before we do, if you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. You can also drop down in the description below. There is a link to my Skillist profile app where I am a top 20 golf coach on the app, and I will give you a free practice plan. Drop me a DM, say I came from the YouTube video, where is my practice plan? And I'll get that ready for you. Okay, the first shot we're going to be discussing is the high heel shot, okay? So this is one of my favorites, and I was taught this as quite a high handicapper many years ago when I just started golf, and it's a shot that I still use now. Why? Because of its simplicity and consistency of results. I can't believe there's not a player on the planet that doesn't still use this golf shot. It is so much easier than your kind of generic standard chip shot around the greens. Also, I play abroad quite a lot, so the grass can be quite grainy. So again, if you're in that situation where around the greens it's quite grainy, this is also a superb way of chipping. Here in the UK, the grass is not very grainy, but I still use it because of its consistency of outcome. So first of all, when we take our setup, your standard shaft lean angle there would be around about 55 to 60 degrees or so. And the club would be sat relatively flat to the ground, and we're often taught to have the toe ever so slightly up, because when we come into a full shot, the shaft of the club bows in this direction, which flattens the face angle. So you'll often see as a general 7-iron setup, the toe will be slightly up. When you're chipping, you may be in that same scenario. You may be a little bit too much like a 7-iron with your setup. But what I want to try and get you to do now is to lift up the handle, okay? I want you to bring off the ground the first quarter, or the quarter of the leading edge closest to the heel. So we're going to make sure the toe of the club is down into the ground. And we're going to basically feel that this half, or let's say third even, of the heel area of the wedge is not even on the ground, okay? As a result of that, what you'll find is the shaft angle becomes a lot steeper, okay? So we're almost close to that 90-degree shaft angle relative to the ground. Now what this actually does, it makes your golf swing less angular. So if I take my normal setup, if I rotate around, my golf swing is going around my body, and there's quite a big angle in terms of rotation. If I actually now manage to get the golf club up a little bit higher, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about my wrist in a minute, but from here, the golf swing now is still angular, obviously, but it's less angular. It's almost a little bit more straight back and straight through, and how you'd perceive your putting stroke to be. So if I just first of all go ahead and hit that shot, toe of the ground down, heel up, I get a lovely strike. You'll often hit that a bit too hard, but you'll often get that little bit of check and release. And why I feel like this is so consistent is because you kind of know what's coming. There's not loads of spin. There's always a little bit of release. That makes it easier for you to be able to judge your distance control. Now the next thing here about setup is the wrist angle. So when we bring this golf club up, the handle up, what I want you to try and feel is that the wrists kind of protrude this way. Okay, so the wrists are effectively going down. If I put the arms back out in front of my body, if I go for a normal setup, which is here, I'm going to leave my arms as they are. As I flatten the golf club to get the heel off the ground, you'll see my wrist angles start to push out more. As a result, I'm going to be a lot closer to the golf ball now, and then I'm going to grip down. With my width of stance, I'm going to make it super narrow. Okay, so let's say 1-2 club head widths wide. I'm over the golf ball. I've still got to try and keep a relatively nice posture. You don't want to tuck your butt in too much and get too rounded, because again, this will hinder your rotation of your back, and then you could end up getting a bit too wristy. Now the idea is we got decent posture, and as we go back, there's still going to be a little bit of wrist movement, so we're still going to move it back in that direction there, and you can release it a little bit, or you can hold the angle. But when you go through the shot, you still got to make sure that the body's turning through, okay? As with every single golf shot, we rely on our body's rotation. It's one of the key areas of the golf swing that it gives us that consistency. The arms and the wrist, they work on a 360. They're not consistent, whereas the spine angle that's set up and just shoulders rotating around it makes it a little bit more, well, feels like a little bit more one-dimensional. So swing it back, wrists are going to protrude out, weight on the left side, landed that one a bit shorter, little bit of check, and that is a brilliant shot, if I do say so myself, from such a short distance. One question my students do ask me as well is, can you use it anywhere? Now, I would often say you're going to use this shot when it's relatively flat in front of you. I'm not going to be trying to hit this over humps and mounds. I'm going to be playing it as a relatively straight shot, always really close to the green. I would say I could maybe buy another 5 or 10 yards away from the green from this distance. Also, you can still use it in the rough. So you can see here, if I just let this ball kind of randomly drop in the rough like it would do on a golf course, not a bad lie, thank you very much, grass. As I come in here, I'm still going to get the same movement pattern. So I often put the club in normally first to line it up. Then I'll lift the toe up and kind of step in. Get my wrist into position, grip down to the bottom of the grip. Both elbows are relatively relaxed. I'm not kind of stiff in either elbow, so a little bit more relaxed, a little bit bent. So normally, again, with a normal, like a full shot, my lead arm would be straighter, but in this instance, it's just a little bit flexed. It's a bit more flexed. I've got my same grip. I have seen players use their putting grip for this as well. So again, that's something you can play around with and try it out. So set up into position, couple of club head widths with my width of stance in the ball position in the center. You can go a little bit of weight favouring the left side. I'll just push that left hip over the left foot. Back, bit hard on that one. But again, that little bit of grab and then that release. And again, it depends on your level of golf, because at the end of the day, I say this to every player, and I even take this into consideration myself. The most important thing you can do with chipping is 1 chip and 2 putts. You've got to make that your worst case scenario, okay? We don't want a duff chip, we don't want 2 chips and 2 putts. We don't want such a poor chip it leads to a 3 putt. So if you can get, depending on what level of golf you are watching this video, depending on what you're trying to achieve with your scoring, if you're hemorrhaging shots around the green, you may be duffing chips, or you may be hitting poor ones that lead to 3 putts. You've got to make sure we can get this first chip shot inside of 15 feet, which is, again, statistically gives you that opportunity of a 2 putt. Go up and back. Again, nice little shot, bit more of a softer landing and a pretty good outcome. Now, if I look at that, statistically, I'm probably holing 1 out of 4, but what I'm not doing is 3 putting after the fact.